Welcome to Campaign Chronicles. We have a presidential candidate in the House, Gary Johnson, former two-term governor of New Mexico, now running on the Libertarian Party ticket. Welcome.
John, great to be with you.
So I want to give you a chance to give your elevator pitch, your high concept. Why you? Why the Libertarian Party? Why this year?
Well, I think the majority of Americans fall in the category of being fiscally responsible and socially tolerant. I'm in that group myself.
I am too.
So that said, I think people in this country really care about civil liberties. I think people in this country really care about the fact that we're spending a lot more money than what we're taking in, and the consequences of that aren't going to be pretty at all. I think when it comes to civil liberties, I think I do better than Obama. And I base that on the ACLU report card here a couple of months ago that had me as the highest rated civil libertarian running for this office. I think I crush Romney when it comes to civil liberties, and I think I do better than Romney when it comes to dollars and cents. So I think that the elevator pitch here is that maybe you're getting the best of both worlds.
Interesting. So, you know, given your record in New Mexico, because I followed this, I mean, you're a two-term governor of a swing state. You cut taxes, balance the budget. And yet you couldn't get the time of day when you were running for president of the Republican Party. What did that feel like? What lessons did that teach you about someone of your political philosophy?
Well, really, CNN set the stage for all of it, and what they said was that I had to be at 2% in A, B, and C polls. Well, guess what? I wasn't in A, B, and C poll. So if you're not in the poll, how do you get into the debate? And then 8 months ago, CNN includes me in their first bi-weekly poll, first time. In that poll, I'm tied with Kane, I'm ahead of Santorum, I'm ahead of Huntsman. After that poll, my name was dropped to never reappear on another CNN poll. That is manipulating the process in a way that goes completely unnoticed by everybody. What I asked the Republican Party to do was simply stand up for me to say that, look, include the guy's name in the polls that determine who gets in the debates. That's all I asked. The message I'm delivering is the same message that Ron Paul is delivering. It's something that is really important. I don't think Ron Paul's going to get the nomination. So what happens to all that? I don't think so. So what happens to all those supporters when that ends up actually culminating?
Well, why wouldn't his supporters all jump over to you? Is that an assumption? Is that being actively worked on? Because right now, Ron Paul supporters are seem to be trying to pack the delegate count in certain states going to the Republican Party nomination.
No, I think that I am a very logical choice, and that it's not a lesser position. That it's not a compromise. You know, this is reloading. This isn't
retreating. To quote Sarah Palin,
this isn't retreating. This is reloading.
Well, rarely have I seen Sarah Palin quoted unironically by Libertarian. Let me ask you this. There is one significant, interesting difference between you and Ron Paul, and it may have something to do with why certain activist elements of the Republican Party didn't rally around you, rallied around him. You are pro-choice. That always seemed very logical to me for a libertarian, sort of bedrock. But with Ron Paul, you have an interesting tributary of the libertarian movement, which is the pro-life libertarian. How do you understand that particular species? And what about your pro-choice status maybe allows you to build bridges but also not connect with some folks in the conservative base?
Well, I always tell anybody with a conservative agenda that the best way that you can affect other people's lives is to live your life by example. But if you're going to try and make this government policy, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up criminalizing activity that otherwise wouldn't be criminal. So is that a role of government? No, it's not. I think we do care about our civil liberties, being able to make choices that only you and I should make. And then in the context of a balanced budget, look, if we don't balance the federal budget, I'm going to suggest we find ourselves without a country. I'm going to suggest we find ourselves in the midst of a monetary collapse where the dollars that we have don't buy a thing because of the inflation that's going to go along with borrowing and printing money to the tune of 43 cents out of every dollar that we're currently spending. There's a mathematics to that. You know, so much is being made of Greece. We're only 6 to 8 years away from being at 160% of debt to gross national product. Greece, we're there.
Okay. Governor Johnson, Libertarian candidate for president. It's great to have you here.
John, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to NewsBeast. Big news President Obama backing gay marriage and the political ripples. We've got Andrew Romano, our man inside the Obama campaign, and Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson in the house. Welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So, Andrew, what are you hearing from your sources inside Team Obama about how this came about and what the implications might be?
Yeah. It's fascinating. They were planning to do this for a while. I think maybe a year ago they made the decision that they were going to come out in favor of gay marriage. They did not plan to do it now. The original plan was to do it sort of right before the convention, give a boost as the party was coming together and heading into the fall campaign. What really prompted this is Joe Biden's statement on Meet the Press, where he came out and said that he was in favor of gay marriage, and they felt like their hand was forced. The questions were being asked of cabinet officials. Artie Duncan had to come out and say that he supported it, and they knew that this would just, the ball would keep rolling here, and so they had to sort of seize the moment, come out and say that Obama was also in favor of gay marriage. I think it's fascinating that the plan could be sort of blown up in that way by Biden going off script.
By one loose-lipped vice president going rogue.
Right. So they were agitated in the White House about that. They're saying that they're not publicly, but they were. It sort of foiled their plans. But it made for this kind of amazing moment that none of us really expected.
I am absolutely comfortable with the fact that men marrying men, women marrying women, and heterosexual men and women marrying women all are entitled to the same exact rights.
Yeah, it really was an amazing moment. So Governor Johnson, you have been a Libertarian Republican, now Libertarian presidential candidate. What's your perspective on this announcement by the president?
Well, not to throw cold water on it, but kind of much to do about nothing, given the fact that Obama wants the states to decide. Leaving it to the states to decide. Already 30 states have said that they're not going to have anything to do with this. I think effectively it's saying it's not going to happen. I do support marriage equality. I think that it is a constitutionally guaranteed right, and that hey, the federal government is supposed to be around to determine the constitutionality of issues, and I think this is one of those issues that needs to be determined at the federal level.
One interesting thing, I was talking to Patrick Murphy, the former congressman from the Philadelphia area, who was the point person for the White House on the Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal in the House back in 2010, and he said that actually when the president came out in his first State of the Union and said that he was for that repeal, people who had not been paying attention to him in Congress were paying attention. So that it has an effect, even though it doesn't directly affect the law. And obviously Congress is not going to be legislating marriage. This is going to go through the Supreme Court. But is only to say sometimes when a president weighs in on things, it can have consequences that you might not.
And for that I applaud Obama. Yeah. For that I applaud Obama. I just think that that the practical effect of this is going to be much to do about nothing.
Well, there's another practical effect, which is political. I mean, the presidential election. And this is, and the reason I think this does qualify as a profile in courage is it goes against many of sort of the political, pragmatic arguments. You're looking at certain swing states. I mean, North Carolina was almost a 20-point margin and is, as Andrew just said, the 30th state to back this measure. So this is, you may be seeing a massive shift, a sea change in terms of American opinion on marriage equality over the past decade. But in terms of the actual swing states in play, especially things the Obama White House had been so hoping for, North Carolina, Virginia, this makes that the climb a little bit steeper, doesn't it, Andrew?
Yeah, it has a couple of effects. I mean, I think one is that it gets people on the left who weren't excited about Obama's re-election campaign excited again. He's obviously, we've seen the reports, receiving a lot of money from gay donors, gay bundlers. That's a big part of his fundraising, so that's going to give that a boost. Young people, older liberals who are sort of dissatisfied and not excited, may be drawn back into the phone banks, volunteering, that kind of thing. But there's a flip side effect as well. Some of the white ethnic voters, Catholics in places like the Philadelphia suburbs, might, who are on the edge about Obama, might give Romney a second look because
and possibly even the African American church community, which this is going to be
Latinos
a fascinating
as well.
Latinos, this Sunday, I'm looking forward to seeing what polls come out in a week or two when this impact is built in, and seeing what preachers are saying from the pulpit this Sunday. But this is definitely history in the present tense, and that always feels good. Andrew, final word.
I think courage.
Okay.
It's good.
Good. All right.
Good.
I'll go with excellent. That's all from us from NewsBeast. We'll see you tomorrow. That was great.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I want a little Bill and Ted on there. I don't know.